Alright, so it's a different kind of video to what I normally do, but I just like to talk about the Harley Benton Fusion 4 here. I've got the Fusion 3 behind me there, which is my main teaching guitar that I've owned for around 4 years. So if you are interested in either getting a Fusion, or you've got a Fusion 3 and you're wondering whether the Fusion 4 is a worthy upgrade, or if you're thinking, oh, shall I get the 3 or the 4? 3 is a bit cheaper, is the 4 worth it? Maybe this video will help you. So say, had this for around kind of 3 days, and I think that's long enough to kind of form a little bit of an opinion on it. Obviously it's not a long-term review, it's just an initial kind of opinion on what's happened. I haven't planned massively on what I'm going to say, so I'm just going to wing it, because why not? Might do a little bit of playing at the end just to show you the sound samples, but there's plenty of videos on that, so it'll just be a quick, this is how it sounds. But straight out of the box, really, really good. Love the colour, love the hardware, look the gold, it looks really, really nice, super pretty. The finish is great on the paint, there's no issues with that. The binding looks really, really good. I like that as well. There's been some reports of some of the gold potentially has some tarnishing issues on the Facebook owners group, but luckily this doesn't have any of the issues with that, like the aesthetics. It hasn't also got any issues with kind of the split in the neck pocket there, which can be just not an issue for Harley Benton, but an issue in general for bolt-on necks. You can get splits in the neck pocket. Hasn't got any of those, so I was pleased with that. Just that, let's go top to bottom, shall we? So the top of the neck, I believe the tuners here on the headstock are of course the same as the Fusion 3, except they've got the Harley Benton logo on now, which they didn't have before, but that's not going to make any difference. String tree are the same. The nut is definitely different because it's the XL nut on this. I can't remember what it is on the 3, but it's definitely different and it's definitely better. So there's an improvement over the 3. Not had any issues with the nut on the 3, but this one just seems it just is better. It just looks better. It stays in tune with the tremolo really, really well. So it's got to be an improvement, right? The neck definitely is the same for me as other people, where it doesn't really have much flame to it. I know a lot of people have said that they haven't got much flame, and I'd say with this as well, the camera probably can't even pick it up. But yeah, there's a little bit of a flame, but not much. It's a nice piece of wood either way, and of course wood is different with each piece, so your mileage is going to vary on that. Maybe you'll get a really flamey one, maybe you won't. I'm not really bothered either way, to be honest. I do like the flamey look on the headstock. That's probably a veneer. You might correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe that's a veneer. The grain definitely goes a different way to the wood on the back, so who knows. But either way, it looks great. It's done well. If it is a veneer, it's done very well, so it looks really, really good. The actual sort of finish of the neck's great. You know, the frets are nice and smooth on the end. There's no roughness. The neck's not, sorry, the edges of the board aren't sharp. I don't know if they're rolled, but they're definitely not sharp. Some could be sharp, so these ones are really nice. Same with the 3, that was nice on the fret edges as well, no problems there. The big improvement is it's no longer a baseball bat like it was on the 3. I was kind of taken back by how thick the neck is on the Fusion 3. I know there was a lot of reports of people saying it was a baseball bat, but I was kind of hoping they were exaggerating. When I got it out of the box, I realised they weren't. But I've got used to it and I quite like it now. This is definitely thinner. It feels a lot more like a Schecter, or kind of like a Chapman, or even some Fenders. So it's definitely thinner and suits this style of guitar a lot more. The neck pocket itself is great with this high fret access cutaway that they've got from one of the other models, that as soon as I saw that I was like, you've got to have that on the new Fusion, because that is screaming for it. Whereas the 3's got this big blocky thing here, which is okay, but it does get in the way when you go for the high shreddy stuff at the top. The other big improvement on the neck is the loom inlay side dots here, which are a big plus over the 3, which just has these little teeny tiny dots on the side, which are great for every day, but when you're on stage, as I was a few months ago with this guitar, you couldn't really see them. So definitely a good thing to have. The frets themselves, I believe, are the same as on both models. However, when I did get the 3, they were incredibly scratchy and rough, like they'd never been buffed in their life, so I immediately had to buff the frets as soon as I got that guitar, which I was prepared to do with this, but didn't have to do that. So that was a win-win this time. The inlays themselves have been a bit of a bone of contention for people. I actually really like the inlays on here. Yes, they're not as visible as the standard inlay there, and they probably could do with being a bit bigger, but they're gold and they look really nice compared to them in with the rest of the gold, so it's all kind of in keeping together. I do think on the maple board ones, it is really hard to see, even on the videos, so that I was like, wow, yeah, you can barely see those inlays. So if you like a visible inlay, perhaps either get the rosewood or just don't bother at all, because yeah, they're quite hard to see. There's an interesting choice. I can see what they were going for, but it is just not really executed very well. So yeah, the neck all good, definitely different, improved, tick. The actual hardware on the guitar itself, very good. The switch is a nice positive switch, as is the little alt switch thing here. The pots themselves just feel like pots, like normal. Nothing to shout about. Not super great, not super cheap. They just do the job. I do like the recessed knobs that you don't get on the Fusion 3. It's just a flat body, so that's a nice aesthetic. I think it's the only guitar I've got with recessed knobs, so we'll see how I get on with them, but I really like the way they look at the moment. I think it looks great. The star of the show is definitely this thing. This thing right here, the Babbage Trem, is very good. It came set up great as well, with the actual height and the angle of the trem was absolutely spot on. It did take a little bit of getting used to because of the weird way the string comes out the trem, which I've never had on any other guitar before. The string comes out from like the middle of it, depending on how the action's set. So instead of resting on the top of it, and the string coming out the top and you palm mute by resting on the top like normal, you kind of have to sit forward a little bit. But I soon got used to it. It didn't take long, and for how good the trem is, it's worth it because it's really buttery, really responsive, and this guitar just resonates even with it turned off. It's really loud, like I can really feel it through the body. So that's maybe that's also coupled with the the block there, the steel block that they've got. I was thinking brass because the Music Man that I've got's got a brass block, and the one thing I noticed about that is when you strum it, the whole thing just resonates. So maybe that's something to do with it. So yeah, lots of good positives on this. I'm really happy with it when it came. The one negative I have got is that as soon as I started lowering the action on the guitar, because of course, as always, the strings are fairly high when you get it out of the box. It was set to around 1.5 to 2 mil. I like it around 1 mil to 1.2 mil because I like the low shreddy stuff. Immediately I started getting fret buzz and issues with a high fret. So at first I thought it was just one high fret, but it turned out to be two. So I ended up having to fix those, which if you're buying this guitar and you don't know how to do that kind of thing, or you just don't want to be dealing with that stuff, then obviously you can just send it back. Is it going to be a common issue? Who knows? Out of all the guitars I've currently got and I've had over the years, I can only think of about 3 that have ever been perfect right out of the box. Some of them have had fret issues. I've had some students who have had guitars brand new with a fret issue. They've sent it back. They've been sent a new one and it's worse. So it's a little bit of a luck of the draw kind of thing with this thing, and I hate that. It shouldn't be like that. It should just be perfect, but it isn't. So just bear that in mind. But who knows? Maybe as more reviews come out, you will know what the quality is going to be like with the fret wire. You might always think, oh, if you spend a lot of money on a guitar, then the frets are definitely going to be perfect, but that's not always the case. I've seen guitars that can be 100 quid and the frets will be absolutely perfect. There won't be one high fret. I can get another guitar that's 2.5 grand and you're like, oh, hang on, there's a bit of a choky thing going on there. So it's not always guaranteed either way. It's annoying. It's one of the worst things about buying a new guitar is you're playing away on it and you're like, oh, this feels so nice. Then all of a sudden it goes ping, and you're like, oh God. So it's annoying, but once fixed, it's not a problem. So apart from that aside, the guitar I think is great. Really good. Massive improvement over the 3. That wasn't perfect. There is still a high fret on that I've never fixed, but it was not that bad that it is a problem, so I've just left it. So I'm not really asked. So let's just give a very, very quick blast on some of the sounds here. I'm not going to do really any playing properly, just kind of strum a chord, because there's been some other videos that have said that they've either had issues with maybe the pickups are faulty, maybe the wiring's not right, they just can't hear a difference between the different settings. Now, I could have just got one that's actually right. Maybe they had an issue. I don't know, but I'm just going to go off what I've got here and show you. So let's have a quick look. I'll try and angle the camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so this is the full humbucker mode. That sounds, you know, as you would expect. Flicking the old switcheroony. Kind of got like a split humbucker sound, which is okay. Then you've got position 2. On its own is perhaps a little bit dull. It's not bad. Flick the switch, and here's this one. I like this one. It's got that proper, like, nice spanky. I can see myself using that. Then the middle one just sounds like a standard kind of middle position Les Paul kind of thing. Nice and full, nice and big. With the switch on, it kind of goes out of phase, which you can't really hear in chords. You kind of need it like, you know, kind of has that kind of honky sound to it. Then this one here, you know, position 4, standard split kind of sound on the humbucker. Sorry. Then you get the split. Oh, sorry. Then you get the alt switch on here. It just seems to brighten it up a little bit, so I quite like that. Then when you're just in the front here, some people have reported that the front pickup can be a little bit kind of muddy. I actually quite like the way it sounds. I think it's quite nice. There's some people saying it's not very bright. I guess it's subjective maybe. I don't like my front pickup too bright, so for me that's ideal. I kind of like it creamy and everything. And then as you flick the switch, now that one I'm not so keen on. That one does sound a bit dull and a bit lackluster. So not really sure about that one. But the normal humbucker, that's perfectly fine. It's nice and big, nice and boomy. I quite like that. It's very usable. So overall, I think that the Fusion 4 is a winner, really. Ooh, wobbly wobbly. Yeah, it's a good guitar. I'd say that it's worth the money, and it's a big improvement over the 3 that I've got in all the areas that I was hoping they were going to make it better. So hopefully you found this useful, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to know.